Hello Gemini, thank you so much for checking out my channel here at Reflexive Moon Tarot. My name is Sarah and I will be doing a reading for you for the new moon, new lunar cycle happening in your sign. So I did make a video that is a little discussion piece on the new moon. Please do go check that out. And if you just want to stick with tarot, we are going to get into that right now. So let's see what Miss Mildred has to say for the Geminis out there. What is the overlying message or takeaway, theme, if you will? Fear, number 9. So many things in that number, so many things in our ability to hear or preferably understand effectively. Because not everybody has the ability to hear, but we all have the ability to listen and take in information on a certain level. So what does that mean? I mean, first of all, the number 9, I would say, like when we're thinking about hearing and understanding, an understanding of cycles and maybe even just lunar cycles right now, because that's, you know, what the name of my game is. But the number 9 is definitely relevant to the planet Venus. 9 months gestational period, not the 9th planet from the sun. So I'm not sure which the 9th planet from the sun is. I'm not that savvy with astrology, but I would like to be, though, truly. So listening, this could be news that you're going to get wind of, I would say, too. Like this may be a foretelling of some type of news. I would also say an awareness, because, you know, there's always like, you know how, you know, there's a situation happening, nobody thinks that you're really listening to what's going on in the room or what's being said behind closed doors, but you have a good understanding of that energy. It's like not just hearing, it's feeling. It's like it's a vibe. So what does that mean for you, Gemini? That's something that you will best be able to determine. But let's get into some cards for you, some tarot. Okay, so we have the Fool. So you might not be listening to the message of, you know, that speaks to a good time for you to take the plunge and try something new, try something different, switch things up a little bit. This could be a missed opportunity that you're creating for yourself, or it could also be that you might be doing the opposite of taking your own initiative. You might be listening too much to the opinions of others. There's always that little dog. In the case here, it's some little piranhas, little ankle biters in the creek. So don't let those ankle biters get you up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. Find your boat and figure out how to move forward into this new period of discovery, new life lessons, leveling up even, I feel like is always associated with the Fool. It's always about figuring out how, you know, how to take the plunge, set intentions, connect with all the aspects of ourselves that are, you know, the major arcana, you know, in conjunction with all of the elements and lessons that go along with that. So, quite sophisticated when you divide it into 78 cards, even though that that does seem restrictive. The combinations are complex and not endless, but it seems that way, doesn't it? What's 78 times 78? Or, I don't know. Like, I'm not good at thinking about math right now. I'm not gonna lie. So, I just realized I didn't do a mic check, but that's what it is. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay. Shitty. All right. The Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is one of my favorite knights. They are like the glory of love. I don't know, like, this is dating me, but it's super like heteronormative in nature, romantic, but the silvery voice of this person and, you know, doing it all for the glory of love it's romantic. It kind of makes you want to throw up a little bit, but at the same time, like, it sparks that little light, right? And that's what the Knight of Wands does. They have a light. They spark the flame. They also have drive. They have ambition. And they have a great capacity to take direction. They are the supporter of the goal. They are the kind of person that you want to have your back. Out of all the knights, I feel like the Knight of Wands is the guy you want behind your back. It doesn't matter if it's a guy, but like, that's the person you want backing you up for sure, because they'll fight for you. And either like you need to have, like, you want somebody like this in your life, or you want to be this type of person for somebody. What else? I'm not sure. The Knight of Wands with the Fool reversed. I feel like this, I was saying this too, and actually just now in Taurus's reading, that the Knight of Wands is like the one who is able to kind of take the initiative to challenge power as well. For sure. So if this is you, maybe like you're just like, this is the type of individual that you are, even though you're a Gemini, like this could be your fiery energy coming through. And you just like need to not have you don't need permission to take the plunge. Or maybe you're just like not really seeing a battle in front of you that you want to challenge. That's okay. Like, just consider it like a little social justice vacay, right? I know that's not really, that actually arguably is not a good thing to say. It's a bad thing to say when you think about the reality of like abject poverty, right? Shouldn't be such thing as a social justice vacation. So perhaps maybe you're feeling a little bit complacent in some privileges that you may have at this time. It's tricky though when there is like, because there really needs to be a good group dynamic when it comes to social justice. If you don't have a following, if there is nobody in that moment for you to back up, you are up shit's creek without a paddle. There's nothing there for you, right? It's stalemate, at least in your immediate surroundings. So maybe finding somewhere different, or rekindling your space, figuring out a different space to be in, to go, or a different, like making a different space for a cause. Could be a different cause that you've been passionate about, or something that you've thought about and haven't really pursued on some level. So, like, it's the possibilities are endless, but I would say with the Four of Wands within like overlooking the situation basically within the universe. Like the universe, it's like refreshing the universe on some level, your universe, and figuring out how to make this space for yourself or for others. Okie dokie. What's next? Judgment. Awakening. What's going to happen? You'll figure it out. You always do, I'm sure. So let's not worry about it too much, as frustrating or as stagnant as things may feel. The Nine of Cups. I like this one. It's kind of like granting the wishes, right? The magic lamps. So your wishes have been granted on many levels, and you have cause to celebrate for that. Be mindful of overindulgence, but also like, okay, have fun with it. So that's good. Maybe, like, don't let guilt take over your life. It's just going to attract what you don't want. It's going to attract either people that resent you, that will lash out at you when you're guilty, or it's just going to cause you to rob yourself of opportunities. Pardon me. As opposed to being what you should be, which is grateful for what you have, right? So we have the 6. So this is like moving on. Like perhaps you need to actually move. That could be what the universe is telling you, is that your space no longer serves you, with the 4 of Wands reverse. And that's, we've already had our springtime little rekindling the hearth fire. What is it? Maypoles usually. White people do like to dance around maypoles with their ribbons and shit. But like, what do you need to move forward from? That's what you need to think about. What is the space? Is this like a space in is it a mindset, or is it like actually physically? And I feel like the biggest takeaway with the 6 of Swords is that it's having this knight there for you. Like we got the person usually like in the Smith deck, there's a person who's pushing the boat, right? So in this case, that would be the actual boat with the spirit of movement, along with this balloon that we have to be responsible to keep airing, right? So this is a responsibility to the self, and usually there's another young person. So that can represent either your future, your frame of mind, or an actual other person that you're responsible for. But either way, the 6 of Wands, I would say, is supposed to be a co-effort. It's not something that a person does on their own. It's not like the 8 of Cups is more like that, where you cut your losses and you just move forward on your own. It's like there's a bit of a pity party involved. With this one, it's like, life is a little bit rough, but we're moving forward so that we can have a better life, right? Don't forget that. So if you're feeling lonely, know that you're not alone and that you need to connect. All right. Look at you being celebrated. Look, you know you're the shit right here. Look at that. You are recognized within your community. And even if you aren't recognized like repeatedly or really seen or acknowledged on a regular basis, you have the confidence, like that fiery energy is there for you. I don't know what kind of fire placements you have. Maybe you got a good Sagittarius spot. It sounds like that is the case. but you are able to see how awesome you are. Like, that is such a gift to have that positive self-talk, to know that you are the shit. Like, you know, what is that, Janelle Monáe? Even back then, in my eyes, I always knew I was the shit. Like, within her, like within this, like, situation she's describing where someone is ridiculing and she's feeling like her tail is between her legs, she still knows that she's got it. Do you know what I'm saying? That's so real. I don't care what anybody says. I'm still going to put my googly red eyes on and read cards. We got the devil reversed. The devil reversed. Speaking of red eyes. Okay, so I would say that within your environment, you're either not being tied down to anything that is uncomfortable or creating a barrier in your life, right? Or I would say that you're doing a good job of hiding whether or not that might not be, like, that may be the case, right? I feel like that's up for you to decide, but either way, others within your environment see that you don't really have anything holding you back. Like, no issues. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have issues. That means that maybe you've done a lot of work to deal with your issues, that you have, freed yourself from your own personal bondage to your trauma. You've developed great coping skills, and or you are, like, you're just thriving, right? So that's good. Now, if you aren't and you're putting on a front about that, I would say that this is not a bad time. That if you are needing to move on from something, then doing it in a way where you're running away is not going to serve you well. You're going to have to face this again if you are running. So I don't think that's the case, though, right now. I really, really don't. And it could be, it could be also that, the way that others see you is that you're not as bad as you're making yourself out to be. Or maybe they don't know that you are somewhat devilish. That could take any shape or form, right? Like, devilish can be like, having like a secret porn addiction, or like what else? I don't know. Like, you're into the Gilmore Girls or something ridiculous, right? Like, it can be something so absurd. It could also be bad, too, like, where you are really sabotaging people's lives on some level, or trying to. So, like, maybe anarchy is your jam, and there are ethical ways to be an anarchist. I really strongly feel like that is the case, but also that kind of isn't. But let's not get into that. All right, so hopes and fears are the Hierophant reversed. So I would say that your hopes and fears, well, your fears, when the card's reversed, it always really points to the fear of dealing with people that aren't true to their word, dealing with people that are, spiritual fakers, dealing with people that do not have your best interest but are trying to lead you on a path of whatever righteousness is for you. Or people who think that they're on some kind of fucking righteous path when they're, like, really, really shady. So that could be so many things. And If it's a hope, then I would say it would be hope to stay the hell away from people like that. This could also be a Taurus in your life, a Taurus that really misled you in some type of way. So you really may feel like you've gotten over them, like you know that they're no good, and that you really hope to truly, truly move on from this individual. Ooh, and here we're ending off with your card. Hey now. The Lovers. This is like self-love in a nutshell. In a nutshell. So we got self-love. We have the Lover's embrace. This is you embracing yourself. This is embracing your... This is us embracing our dualities always. The Lover's card represents, you know, our human capacity for everything. All the energies that we messily exchange within ourselves and with others. I feel like this card always points out to negative self-talk, which is our poison. It's about like seeing yourself. When you think about Gemini, when you think about the twins, the act of seeing you outside of yourself, like just the physical, obviously the twin is totally a different individual, but it's just seeing yourself and recognizing you and loving you. And it's also a choice, you know, this like the act that comes with choosing to love yourself. It extends to those who you choose to love in your life, and to, you know, how we receive the love back, or how we, or lack thereof, how we receive or don't receive whatever, like if we've attracted some kind of bullshit, how we decide to eventually reject it and move forward, right? So just to clarify that, I would say that the person, whether this is you or them, there's going to be some type of lesson or give that needs to happen concerning the nurturing component of your life, or your new partner, if there's a new partner in your life. This could also be a mother figure in your life. The queen, or it could be any kind of parent figure, doesn't matter, but somebody who didn't nurture you when they should have, somebody who fed themselves before they fed you. And, you know, those are like proper lone wolf teachings. Like, you have to feed yourself in order to fully be present, to take care of those who you're responsible for. But when you just keep feeding yourself and you're starving those who you're responsible for, not okay. And that doesn't necessarily mean physically, like literally, I should say. That's metaphorically. So you have the capacity to figure out what that means. Gemini, you always do. And let this, you know, let this new moon in your sign, like, be the best lights out and rebirth ever for this year. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you again next time. Take care and bye for now.